Let's move on to lighter news now, and a news that will surprise, well, none of us. Disney's live-action remake of Snow White is officially one of the biggest flops in Hollywood history.
All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
What? So yeah,
My agent would have punched me in the face.
I was
According to reports, Rachel Zegler is evading capture following the Snow White incident. According to recent reports, Rachel may be leaving her community and even going to therapy as a result of the immense hate she is experiencing online following the huge failure. Disney has already begun to shelve upcoming remakes like Tangled because of how disastrous the Snow White fiasco was. Fans couldn't help but notice Rachel's egotistical and controlling traits, despite the fact that she is only 23 years old and clearly gifted. And truthfully, Rachel acknowledged it herself.
My name's Jonathan, Princess. Not Jonathan, Princess. Just Jonathan, Princess.
These domineering tendencies have recently been further revealed, this time by her own co-star Andrew Burnap. For those who don't know, Andrew Burnap is a dedicated actor who worked hard to establish his career. He committed himself to stage acting while growing up in a small Rhode Island town, and he eventually got his big break as the lead in Disney's Snow White. In an interview with People magazine, Andrew himself gave an emotional account of the experience. "I recall trying out for it." He remembered, "I recorded something and sent it off. I was invited in for a chemical read with Rachel Zegler a few weeks later. Wow, my life is truly going to change from here. I thought as I sat on the ground outside after receiving the call that I had been hired. Imagine putting in that much effort, getting your ideal role, and then seeing your entire endeavor turn into the world's most despised film due to your co-stars' poor publicity and contentious interviews." According to rumors, Andrew Burnap has been avoiding all interactions with paparazzi since the Snow White fiasco. His huge Hollywood break was ruined by Rachel's woke worldview and bad press, despite his hard work and excellent acting. Furthermore, it goes beyond rumors that circulate behind closed doors. View some of Rachel's personal Instagram tales in this article from End Wokeness. Disney definitely wasn't hoping for this particular image of a princess from a fairy tale. This is no longer merely a career blunder. Andrew Burnap's leaked receipts are just the first step in Rachel's own crew exposing her behavior both on and off the set. According to reports, Rachel Zegler's off-screen actions made Disney's Snow White 10 times worse. Fans and insiders claim that Rachel attempted to dictate the shooting of a number of sequences, particularly those that portrayed Snow White as a strong character. In one brief scene from the movie, Andrew Burnap's character introduces himself to Snow White as Jonathan, Princess, only to clumsily correct himself and add, "Jonathan, Princess."
You've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
However, Rachel herself raised a more serious red flag when she stated candidly on the press tour that all of Andrew's scenes could get who knows. It's unusual for a co-star to say that, and it exposes severe domineering behavior.
Really not gonna do this? Fine, just give out the award then. God, the worst.
Rachel continued after that. She called the prince a stalker and insisted that the adaptation would not adhere to any conventional fairy tale pattern, mocking the timeless love story at the core of Snow White on numerous occasions. Some admirers now think that Andrew's on-set mishap wasn't just a case of poor luck. Rather, it appeared to be a Hollywood shaming routine. For those who are unfamiliar, a humiliation ritual is a notion that holds that prominent people are compelled to carry out humiliating deeds as a test of their commitment to influential groups in the background. Consider John Cena's notoriously nude entrance at the 2024 Oscars. To protect himself, he presented a prize and left with just an envelope.
name's Nick. I'm one of Fairy Godmother's apprentices. I'm here to shop you around and make all your selections for the day.
And what I think is actually really cool this year is we've got a Pride Mickey with a rainbow heart, and he's waving the flag, and I don't know that we've ever had something, I mean, at least that I can remember in my memory, like this, that's like Mickey.
Although it's only a theory, it seems less unrealistic in light of Disney's recent actions. Watch this American Family Values Channel's video to learn why Disney has become so overtly progressive.
I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
The traditional love tale was entirely abandoned in Rachel Zegler's Snow White in favor of contemporary political messaging. Rachel wanted Snow White to be a strong character without any romance, rescue, or prince, and she had no interest in paying homage to the original work. The story doesn't end there. Recall the Hollywood SAG-AFTRA strike? During the protests, Rachel gave a strange speech in which she claimed that she should be compensated for each hour that the movie was streamed, as she had to wear her Snow White dress for 18 hours every day.
The way I see it is, if you want to have a successful project, then you need to have a very competent team, along with competent and well-behaved co-stars that are by your side all the time and supporting you. Unfortunately, we did not really have that with this production, and the greatest mistake any actor or actress can make when you are promoting a film is when you begin to get very political.
18 hours a day. Really? Given all that is taking place behind the scenes and Rachel's domineering behavior now being made public, it is understandable why her Hollywood reputation is collapsing so quickly. Sadly for her, the criticism doesn't stop here. Let's move on to another significant setback for Rachel Zegler, this time from Gal Gadot, her own Snow White co-star. In a recent interview, Gal Gadot implicitly accused Rachel of being responsible for the production's failure. When asked what went wrong behind the scenes, Gal attributed it to a lack of coordination and people being too woke, without specifically naming Rachel.
One like 1937 that we all cherish. It really was a very difficult production for me, if not the most difficult production in my entire career. We dealt with numerous setbacks due to some incompetence from our co-stars.
It is rather clear who she was referring to. Throughout the press tour, Rachel Zegler was the only cast member to openly express political views and to consistently criticize the original Snow White tale.
Move on to lighter news now, and a news that will surprise, well, none of us. Disney's live-action remake of Snow White is officially one of the biggest flops in Hollywood history.
In addition, Rachel's portrayal of Snow White has been dubbed the biggest flop in Hollywood history. It is confirmed by a number of outlets and box office specialists.